Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Steve Kilbey Show. I'm your host, Sean. We're here on location in Solana Beach, California for night 2 of 4 for me of seeing the church. Obviously, that's what this show is all about, is Steve Kilbey and the church. So we're here in Solana Beach, a Belly Up Tavern, established in 1974. I've never been here, heard a lot of great things about it, always wanted to come down here. The drive down here from Los Angeles was absolute fucking hell. Let me just tell you about it. If you love your car to move 10 miles per hour at most, and sometimes at a complete dead stop on a 4-lane highway, the drive from Los Angeles to Solana Beach, California is for you. It was quite awful. I actually was talking to somebody else who was here at the VIP show. They also drove down from LA and also had a similar experience. Here's my little badge for the VIP thing. They did the sound check already, which was very great. So they played 3 songs while we were waiting outside. So that was cool to hear. They played, 3 songs. They played Realm, they played Under the Milky Way, and Hypnagogue. Fucking love Hypnagogue. So that was cool. And then we got actually let in. And from inside, then we got to hear 2 songs, which was really fantastic. One of which won't be this. So they played a new song, Western, which they're playing as part of this tour. That's on the as named Lacuna but not yet released album that hopefully will be coming out soon for us. And then they played Myrrh, which is a song I love, and that is not currently on this set list, so that was cool. Listen, I'm already rambling. I can't believe it. It's a beautiful day down here at the beach. I got time to kill to go get something to eat, so just doing a pre-show video again for my night 2 of seeing the church of 4 nights. So Belly Up Tavern was established in 1974. The church first came here in 1998 during the Hologram of Ball tour. The opening band, I thought this was kind of interesting because I'm a kid of the 90s, was Sixpence None the Richer, who you might know from that song Kiss Me. If you don't know it, go listen to it. You're going to be, cursing my name after you go listen to it because you're like, oh, that fucking song. It was everywhere in the 90s, Sixpence None the Richer. So it's kind of an interesting, I'm just visually picturing that. The show, man, I got to tell you, the opening of the show, fantastic. Aura, which is a song from an album we have not yet discussed, Priest Equals Aura. I love Aura. And then Myrrh is a fucking great song. An Interlude and Ripple, great for first 4 songs. And then, they played, I think, only one thing from Hologram of Ball that night. They played Louisiana, and I love Louisiana. Not something they pull out, I don't think, very often anymore, but I love that song. Other highlights from that show were like Old Flame, which is an interesting choice. Of course, Reptile, Buffalo. Sorry, they also played Buffalo. I like that they ended the set with Reptile, and then they did a first encore, Destination, and Tantalize. That's a great combo. And then did a second encore for You Took, which I love. They were back 1 year after that, almost to the day. Oh no! Oh my God, dude. We're just gonna hold you. All right. So we're now handheld for the rest of this. By the way, it's a, like I said, beautiful day out here. Hopefully that was a cut, and we're just picking up here after I was in this bush here. You were being held up by this bush while you're recording. So I'm in my Wake in Fright shirt from Australia. I love Wake in Fright. We're talking about the church. So 1998, their first time here, Hologram of Ball. They were back 1 year, almost to the day later. They were here 9/18. So September 18th, 1998, they were back in September 16th of 99 for a Box of Birds tour. Covering a bunch of different stuff, right? Silver Machine, Cortez the Killer, the Neil Young song, of course. That's what Box of Birds was all about. A lot of covers, right? Things that, songs that really inspired them, I think, along the way, and inspired the sound of the church or the feel of the church. And so they played a lot of that stuff. Hiroshima, Mon Amour, After Everything, a lot of stuff like that. The Endless Sea and Iggy Pop song, that's really great. Tranquility, a lot of good stuff. An interesting tour. So 1998, they were here in 1999, and then quite some time in between. They were not back at the Belly Up here in Solana Beach until July 20th of 2006 for the Uninvited Like the Clouds tour. As we talked about earlier at the Fonda show, that was an acoustic tour with Patty Hood on harp, Rob Dickinson, cousin of Bruce Dickinson, opening that show as well. Same kind of set list it looks like from that show, and I have a poster from that show, which I'm going to have to try to show you in a second here. I'm going to show you the posters at the end to make this easier for myself, so we'll do that. And then then 3 years after that, they were back in June of 2009 for the So Love May Find Us tour. They played pretty much all the regular hits that you would like to hear from them, but some new stuff: Dead Man's Hand, Pangea, Operetta. Those are all kind of at the time kind of new-ish, and Space Savior, which is a song I love. And then, interestingly enough, because we've talked about it before, A Month of Sundays. A Month of Sundays, of course, I found this is so fascinating to me that they made a song called A Month of Sundays that came out the same year as Don Henley, A Month of Sundays, which as a B-side for him to Boys of Summer, a song that inspired them to find the producer, to work with that producer here in LA for Starfish. I just think that's so interesting. Let me flip the page here. Might get shaky. Hang in there with me. Oh, yep. All right, we did good. It wasn't too bad. All right, then back. They're back. So that was 09. Then it's another 10 years. They're not back until 2019 for the Starfish 30th anniversary tour. We've talked about that because they did that in Los Angeles as well. If you are so interested, them playing Destination from that show is actually available on YouTube. You can go ahead and find that on YouTube should you want. But the show sounded great. Obviously, the whole Starfish record from start to finish. Other good songs in there. Another Century. Sea Line, Constantinople, of course, Tantalized. They closed the whole show with Miami. Then they were back again in 2023 for the Hypnagogue tour, and I am a big fan of that show. That whole tour was fantastic. That was the first time I considered coming down here. Actually, was to go see them during that, but I didn't make it down here on that tour for them. But that was a lot of stuff from the Hypnagogue, Ascendance, No Other You, which is one of my all-time favorites. They did a little snippet of Angie. They played Albert Ross, Antarctica, the Hypnagogue, all songs, C'est La Vie, all songs from that Second Bridge, which is a great song, all from that record. And then they closed the whole show with You Took. They were kind of doing that at the time, and it was a great way to close it. And the soundtrack at that was online, and they played Shadow Cabinet, Second Bridge, and Destination. And listen, tonight is a sold-out show. We're going to be back after the show, and I'll do a brief rundown, hopefully briefer than this. I'm so sorry that this has ended up being long, but it's going to be cut up a little bit because I dropped. But here's an ad from that first show that they played here way back in the day. Sorry for the topless there. And then they were back here again for the So Love May Find Us tour, which you can see right there. And that same tour, you can see what the concert ticket looked like there, which is great. And then tonight, no, this was the Hypnagogue. No, this is tonight. This is what the ad looks like for tonight. But I actually have the physical little thing that they've got handing out here, which talks about them there being a sold-out night. And yeah, we're going to be back. This is a shaky video. This is too long, and I apologize for that, but we'll be back after the show for a post-show. Actually, Steve might be hanging out behind me there. I feel like I heard his voice. Anyway, we'll talk to you all soon. Talk to you after the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another post-show episode of the Steve Kilbey Show. I'm your host, Sean. The car might be driving by in a second, but don't mind them. It is now 12 o'clock. It's actually a little after 12 o'clock. At night, and the show started at 9, so it was a long show this evening. It was a excellent show. I really I was saying that there's a lot of good things to talk about, but I'll just quickly go over a couple of them. First of all, the show was great. The band was very tight. I don't think I've talked about it before, but this drummer they have, Nicholas, is so good, man. He's really good. And I did a VIP experience today, so I got to meet the band a little bit. Not all of them. I met most of them, though. I didn't actually get to talk to Nicholas, but in talking to Ashley Naylor, one of the two main guitar players in the band, he was talking about how he thinks they're really good now, primarily because of Nicholas and what a good drummer he is. And it's just so tight, these guys, man. They fucking jam, they rock, there's psychedelicness. And Steve was on point today, I thought. I mean, I always love his vocals. I thought his vocals sounded great. He was telling some really good stories, funny stories, similar stories to the Fonda, but better. The spirit seemed better. You know, it was like the energy of this 600 person capacity venue sort of brought out a better thing in him. One of the people I met tonight was, Steve's partner, Rachel, and we had chatted a little bit on social media briefly, right? And she was very kind and lovely. So nice to finally meet her. We talked very briefly after the show, and I said it's funny that he was kind of complaining about playing the Belly Up Tavern for the 100th time. He's like, I guess I never will get bigger than this. I've been playing the same kind of place forever. It's sort of like, I feel like that energy kind of seeped into this show, and he was so good. So the band was great. Some of the highlights, I love Sacred Echoes Part 2. I've talked about that in the episode where I covered that single, but I love that song live. Being able to hear it a couple times live now, I think that's a standout, and that comes pretty late in the set. Tantalized is so good, and I love that song anyway. It's one of my all-time favorite church songs, but it really shows what this band does great live. They expand it, and there's so much build-up, so much great drama, so much great musicianship. It's just a treat, an absolute delight to listen to live. And it's funny because a lot of people left after Under the Milky Way, which is the penultimate song that they play in the regular set, and then people filter out, and then I think the show just gets better with Tantalized, Sacred Echoes Part 2 as the first song of the encore, and then an interlude. Anyway, let me just show you a couple quick things. So I got to meet Ian as well as Ashley and Steve, the man himself, which was great, as well as Tim Powles, which is awesome. The longest standing church member other than Steve in the band. So it was cool, man. So I had my eye on these when they posted these, but I went ahead and picked up an art print. So I like Steve's art. I think it's really interesting. There's a piece that I would love to get that I don't know if it's something he sells, which I've talked about because I'm a big fan of the Hypnagogue, that whole story, the Sun Kim Jong thing, that he's got that drawing that's in the artwork, I believe, where it's two of her looking at each other. I love that. I actually meant to ask them about that tonight, but I picked this up. So it's an art print. It's limited, signed on the back. This is number 9 out of 10. There's only 10 of them being made. So it's a legit little art print there, which is cool. I'm excited about that. I'll hang that up. We also were given a VIP poster that was signed by the whole band, which is awesome. I don't really know what to do with band posters, honestly. I don't have a lot of them, but the ones I have, I'm kind of a little unsure what to do with. So anyway, that was some of that stuff. I also picked up the second issue of Veil of Tears, which is great. Excited to read this. I actually have the third one at home through another friend, Josh. He'll never see this because he doesn't watch YouTube videos, but thank you, Josh. We got our laminate. Great. Something else I got. Hang on a second. Oh, right. And then I had brought this specifically. I just talked about it actually in that church episode, and when I was talking about it, I was thinking to myself, oh, I should bring this to the show. And Ian very kindly signed it for me there, which was very nice of him, and he seemed excited that I brought that along. So that was really cool. And then I brought a couple other things. Didn't get a chance to have Steve sign anything, which was fine. It was nice just to chat with him. I did give him, as any frequent viewer of the show will remember, in the first episode I drew an outline of Australia that cracked him up. He found that very amusing, so I had been wanting to, long time now, give that to him as gift, whatever that means. And I also did a little self-portrait of the video he made talking about the show. I did a self-portrait, not a self-portrait, I did a portrait of him. I'm an awful artist, really not good, but it's got heart, right? So I gave him those two in a little tube today when I met him, which was nice. And when I was talking to Tim briefly, I brought this along, which we haven't talked about yet, but I'm excited to talk about. And I had Tim sign his photo there in this psychedelic church thing. So all in all, it was a real big success. I liked the show a lot more than the Fonda show. This has happened before. I mean, honestly, I love this Pappy and Harriet show that I saw. Again, really small place. And I really loved this show that I saw down in Anaheim at the House of Blues down there. So it's strangely enough, I mean, that's a little bit bigger, but these smaller environments seem to bring out something in him. So I'm very interested to see where we're at performance-wise in Phoenix for the next 2 nights. So we were in LA. I'm down here in Solana Beach. Again, the drive was hell. It took like 3.5 hours almost to get down here. A 99-mile trip, I want to reiterate. 99 miles, 3 to 3.5 hours. So much traffic. It was horrible. Now I got to drive a little bit out and then kind of start making my way to Arizona, and then I'll wake up in the morning and hit the road and keep going through the desert. It's going to be hot as hell. I'll be sure to keep you on a temperature check Thanks for checking in. Steve Kilbey Show. If you need buttons, hit us up. I cannot recommend this tour enough. It's a singles tour, so if you're gonna like the band or interested in seeing the band, this is the time to see them. I'm hoping for a deep cuts tour soon. Sean Graham reporting for the Steve Kilbey Show here in Solana Beach, California, outside the Belly Up Tavern. The church, rocking and rolling. Sean Graham on the road, following along, rocking and rolling. See you soon.